Section 6.2, Part 1, Multiplying and Dividing Radical Expressions. By the end of today's lesson, students will be able to multiply radical expressions, which means that you'll be able to multiply two things together that have radicals. First, we are going to look at the products, which is when you multiply two radicals together. So you have the nth root of a times the nth root of b. That's going to equal the nth root of ab. So some things for you to notice. Both of these are n's, okay? They have to be the exact same thing. After the indexes are the exact same thing, then you can just multiply what's underneath and you stick them next to each other under a radical. So let's look at our first example. All right, I am going to give you the fourth root of 12 times the fourth root of 5. Check to make sure the indexes are the same. They're both fourth roots. So then you are going to write them together under one radical and you're going to multiply them. So you're going to take 12, you're going to multiply it by 5, and you get the fourth root of 60. You're always going to want to try to break this down, so you have 6 and 10 and 3 and 2 and 5 and 2. This 4 right here means you need a total of 4 of the same numbers. So I only have 2 2's, not 4 2's, so therefore I cannot simplify this anymore, and my answer is the fourth root of 60. Let's look at our second example. Okay, so I want you guys to try the fifth root of -5 times the fifth root of -2. Go ahead and press pause and try this problem. Did you first check to make sure the indexes are the same? Since they're the same, you can write them under one radical, -5 times -2, which is going to give you the fifth root of +10. Again, you would try to break that down, and you cannot break it down anymore, so the fifth root of 10 is your final answer. Let's look at our last example. We have the fourth root of 7 times the fifth root of 7, and we're going to try to multiply them. So remember, the first thing I say to do is to check their indexes. Are the indexes the same? 4 is not the same as 5, so therefore you cannot simplify this problem. You cannot do anything with it. That's your final answer. All right, let's look at simplifying a radical expression. We have the cube root of 128, x to the 7th. So I would try to pick up my calculator and see if the cube root of 128 was a nice number. Unfortunately, it's not though. So we need to break down the 128. So I know that 2 goes into it because it's an even number. So I have 2 and 64. And then I can break down my 64 into 8 and 8. And then break down the 8 up into 4 and 2. 2 and 2, same thing over here, 4 and 2. 2 and 2. Okay, we're going to write this a little differently than I'm used to having you write that. I want you to write out the lowest, so all of these numbers at the bottom, I want you to write them all under your radical, okay? So this 2, we're going to write down, okay? We do not write down the 8 because it's broken down. We don't write down the 4 because it's broken down, so we write down the 2 and the 2. And then this 2 over here we need to write down those 3 2's we have left, okay? So I have 4 more. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, okay? And if you were to multiply all of those 2's together, it should go back and give you 128, and you might want to do that, okay? Now we're going to work with the x's. So x to the 7th also means I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 x's. Okay, this index tells me the number of same either numbers or variables that I need to circle for it to come out in front. So here's 1, 2, 3 2's. So that 2 is going to come out in front. Okay, again, 1, 2, 3 2's. So that 2 is going to come out in front. Okay, there's only 1, 2 left, so it's going to stay underneath. 1, 2, 3 x's. So it's going to come out in front. 1, 2, 3 x's. So it's going to come out in front. So underneath, you have this 2 and this x. Okay, simplify it one more time. 2 times 2 is 4. X times x is x squared. And then you still have the cube root of 2x left. Now we're going to look at how we simplify a product. So I am going to start by multiplying your two numbers together. Okay, so we have 15 times 20, and that's going to give me the square root of 300. Okay, then I'm going to multiply x to the 5th times x, which means you add their exponents. 5 plus 1 gives me 6. Okay, same thing with the y's. I'm going to multiply them together, which means I'm going to add their exponents. 3 plus 4 is 7. All right, now let's break down our 300. So you can write the 15 and the 20 that we just used to multiply them together, or you could use 3 and 100, or 30 and 10. Either way, you're going to get the same answer. Okay, break down the 15 into 5 and 3. Break down the 20 into 5 and 4, and then 2 and 2. Okay, so just like before, I'm going to write the lowest numbers all under the radical, so I'm going to write both 2's, and then I'm going to write my 3, and I'm going to write both 5's. Remember, we don't use the 4 because it got broken down. We don't use the 20 and the 15 because it got broken down. Also check, 2 times 2 times 3 times 5 times 5 should give you 300 again. And it does. All right, now I'm going to break down my x to the 6, means 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 x's. And then y to the 7th, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 y's. Okay? There is an invisible 2 that's out here. Remember, that means square root. So that means I need to circle 2 of the same numbers for it to come out in front. So this 2 comes out front. This 5 comes out front. X, X, and last set of x's. Okay, y, y, y. And then this 3 stays underneath. This y stays underneath, okay? And I'm going to come back over here so I can simplify it. We're going to multiply 2 times 5 together, and that's going to give me 10. Then we multiply x times x times x together, and that is going to give me x cubed. That is a 3. And then we are going to multiply y times y times y together. Also, that gives me y cubed. And then you have the square root of 3y left over.